Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at House of Seven Gables from Nicolai Aaroe. House of the Seven Gables is a classic novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, first published in 1851. Set in a gloomy ancestral mansion, it follows the Pyncheon family haunted by a dark past and a curse. As they struggle with their complex family legacy, secrets begin to unravel and the house becomes a symbol of oppression and redemption. The story weaves together elements of romance, mystery, and the supernatural, exploring themes of guilt, redemption, and the impact of the past on the present. The house itself holds the key to the family's fate, making this a compelling tale of intrigue and self-discovery in 19th century New England. And you can even visit the actual house that the story is based on. It's a historical site and museum in Salem, Massachusetts, that famous House of Seven Gables. And for his latest deck, artist Nicolai Aaroe decided to craft a design using his own reimagining of the classic tale. The deck comes in two different versions, each one named for one of the leaders of the mysterious house in the story. You have Lazarus and Eleazar. We'll get a chance to look at both of them. There's a few differences between the two decks, but let's start off with Eleazar. All right, so starting with the tuck box. So these were printed by Noir Arts Playing Card Company. They do most of the decks for Nicolai Aaroe. They do a really nice job in general on tuck boxes. Their foil work, embossing, very clean, and this one, no exception. It's done on a black matte stock here. Nice gold and this sort of cream colored foil, and a nice subtle emboss to give this one a really sort of elegant look to it overall. Black and gold, just a classic combination. And it's made to look kind of like the front cover of a book. You get House of Seven Gables by Nicolai Aaroe up there on the front, and then Eleazar, the addition, down there at the bottom. Tons of gold filigree filling in all the details here. Really ornate, intricate design throughout here. And you can really see the impact of that nice clean foiling. Bottom here, you get a lamb. This is a common symbol in Christianity. The lamb there, a symbol for God, and kind of hints at some of the religious undertones of the story behind the deck. But beautiful front to the tuck box, and you turn to the sides here, you get House of Seven Gables with a little bit more gold filigree there, kind of filling out the borders. And on the other side, Salem, Massachusetts, the setting for the story. The bottom here has your ad copy. It's done on a sticker here, so they use a sticker seal on the bottom that includes a numbering for the deck. So I got number 486, and you can see some of the other ad copy there as well, and an image of the famed House of Seven Gables there on the side. The top, 1692, sort of the year behind, I think this is the year of the Salem witch trials, I think is what it's referring to. And then the back, kind of like the back cover of a book here. So this isn't the back design of the cards or anything, but some of that same gold filigree, and then House of the Seven Gables occult playing cards illustrated by Nicolai Aaroe. So you open up the inner flap here, you'll see the lamb peeking its way out with the Roman numerals for 2023 when the deck was produced, and some nice blind embossing there with the black kind of cords wrapping their way through there. And then on the inside, some other mysterious symbols. You get the moon on one side and this seven-pointed star, the heptagram there on the other side, kind of an occult looking symbol there. And on the inside, just sort of a mishmash of different gold symbols. So you get some nice interior foiling and some cryptic symbols making their way all the way down the bottom of the tuck box. Beautiful tuck box overall, nice elegant look to it in that black and gold, just a really classic combination. All right, now on to the cards, starting with the back design. And here it is. So some metallic inks on this one. Noir Arts doesn't do the shiniest of metallic inks, so it doesn't have a super bright shine to it, but a nice classic design on this one. You get the lamb there as the center of the design. Again, those Christian undertones coming in, but then some symbols that sort of hint at the occult, including most notably that heptagram, the seven-pointed star, making an appearance in there. Lots of vine work twisting its way all the way through, but beautiful, just a classic looking back design on this one. Kind of has a bit of a chunky border, mainly because you get that black border and then the off-white border. So it makes it feel like a little bit of a fat bordered card. I would have liked this, maybe taking off the cream border and just going black to the edge or something like that. I think would have looked a lot nicer. But overall, really nice artwork on the back design there. Kind of a classic vibe to it. All right, now on to the main card. So you get an ad card here that tells you a little bit of the story, talking about how this one was inspired by Nathaniel Hawthorne's story, just kind of a little description of the deck there. And then one of my favorite things, a diptych joker on this one. The diptych here shows a two-paneled image of the House of Seven Gables. The gables here are basically like the points at the top there. So there's 7 gables to this one. But beautiful looking image and that kind of sketch style, all done in black and white. Really kind of mysterious, dark image, kind of leaving you to wonder about the stories within the walls. But very cool diptych. I love a good diptych joker. And then 2 more classic jokers. These 2 featuring the lamb. You get the lamb in the center of the heptagram there, kind of leaving you to wonder like whether this is part of like a lamb sacrifice or whether the lamb's a more positive symbol. And the whole deck sort of meant to lend that air of mystery. So it has elements that are more positive and uplifting and Christian in nature, and then others that are a little bit darker and more occult. And so here, definitely the mixture of the lamb with praise the lamb written underneath with that occult symbol in the background kind of gives you a hint of that duality that we're going to see throughout. Get another heptagram with Joker written down the sides there, but beautiful look to them and that nice weathered background as well. So there's your jokers. And now finally we get to the main deck, starting with the aces. And the ace of spades, definitely the power ace on this one. And this one is one of the darker, more evil looking cards of the deck. Of course, the ram's head there, often used as a symbol of the devil in some sort. So kind of the war between good and evil really brought to life on this card. Even has the pentagram or the heptagram there in the center of the forehead. Kind of a menacing looking ram there in the center of that large spade pit. Name of the deck on the banner at the bottom, House of Seven Gables by Nicolai Aaroe. And then the nice four corners for the indices. So kind of a classic Pippin index, but done in all 4 corners, which is something kind of useful if you want to use this either left or right-handed. So if you wanted to use this as a gameplay deck, kind of has that dual-sided bit to it. And then some cryptic little runes down here on the side. I wasn't able to decipher these. I gotta say, I think the first word here is Eleazar, name of the deck and the name of one of the characters in the deck, but couldn't make out what the rest of that said, but kind of a little mystery left to the imagination there. The other 3 aces, all beautiful, ornate, and kind of have mixtures of, see like the lamb here in the center, and then explosion of mysterious details all the way around. So there's the ace of diamonds, ace of clubs with the torch in the center, and then the ace of hearts again with the lamb, and then the crossed, I guess those would be feathers or bits of wheat there or something like that. But beautiful looking quartet of aces. The number cards kind of have that same bit of customization. You get the weathered pips there in the center, that same with the mysterious writing on the side, the 4-corner Pippin index. And then a few of the cards will have something a little bit extra. You'll see here, like in the middle of the 2 of spades, for he is worthy, which kind of sounds like a bit like a biblical phrase there. The other number cards, though, mostly pretty standard layout to the pips. Each one of the 7s, though, features an extra little mystery. So one of the pips has been changed into a lamb here, and then in the center of that heptagram, the 7-pointed star once more. So each one of the 7s is going to feature that image as kind of an extra little mysterious bit to the deck. But the rest of them, pretty classic layout to them. I like the weathered looking pips. There's the 2 of diamonds with praise the lamb in the center. And then, of course, as we get to the 7 of diamonds, we'll get that lamb in the middle again, replacing one of the pips. And then on to the clubs. And one more 7 of clubs. And then finally, the classic red hearts. So nice look to them. Nothing too distracting if you wanted to use this for gameplay, but still kind of an atmospheric feel to the number cards nonetheless. And then we get to the quartz. And Nicolai Aaroe, I gotta say, draws some of the best quartz you will find anywhere. Beautiful one-way images. I like that it's one-way images just because it gives you that much more to appreciate as you take a look at all the quartz. And each one of the quartz is going to represent one of the different residents of the house. And it depicts multiple generations of the family as they all sort of try to make sense of the mystery of the house around them. Like everything in the deck, there's sort of a mixture of devotion and hesitance towards the beliefs they were raised in. So again, that kind of mixture of, is there something evil going on in the house, or is it a story of redemption? Kind of leaves it up to the viewer to decide what it is. And so some of the courts here represent some of the youth of the house. So here we've got the Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs, and Queen of Clubs, each one of them with their name at the bottom. So you get David, Thomas, and Prudence here as some of the youth. Beautiful kind of hesitant look on their faces. I love the slight expressiveness of their faces. And you'll see some of those same symbols come to life. You'll see the lambs in the arms of the young ones here, kind of leaving you to wonder, like, hey, are those lambs part of some dark ritual that takes place in the house? Or is it just a beloved pet to some of the children and a creature that's protected by everybody in the house? Love that it's kind of a full scene here. You'll see the house there in the background of each one of them. See the trees twisting their way in. Just a beautiful black and white image on these cards. And as you go to the next set of court cards, we move to some of the adults. And these, not quite as hesitant as the children. These are people who are more focused on their duties. But again, kind of leaving you to wonder, is their duty that they're there to protect the lambs? Or are they some sort of ritual, maybe to protect from the devil? You really don't know. And each one of them, you can kind of read it both ways. Like Richard here reading the book, is he reading the Bible, or is he reading from some sort of, mystical spell book or something like that? Love the pensive look on most of their faces as well. And in particular, this one, Black, is one of the darker and more sinister looking cards. He's got the lamb in his hands, complete with the blade there in the front. So the deck never really, or the story never really makes it clear whether there's actual animal sacrifice, but cards like this really have to make you wonder. But very cool card on that one. And then we get to the elders of the house. So we have Esther, Shepherd, and William here as the three elders. And these are definitely the more established, the keepers of knowledge about the dark secrets and rituals that the family hides. They're really meticulous about the mysterious rites, and you can see them, each of them kind of doing something that maybe is part of that rite. For example, Esther there creating one of those 7-pointed stars in her hands there, maybe something that's used in one of the rituals. Shepherd there sharpening one of his tools, and then William carrying a basket of ingredients there. But beautiful looking cards all around, and just kind of a dark, mysterious look to them. And then the final two cards represent the two leaders of the house. You get Lazarus and the namesake of this version of the deck, Eleazar. So Lazarus was said to possess the sight, and he could see things beyond what others could, and he can use that power to extend his protection to the home and to the family. You can see him here reading a book with the lamb on the cover. And then Eleazar, the old lady, pictured holding a lamb here. She was an oracle who was dedicated to her craft and one of the key components to some of the rituals that the family partakes in. But really kind of dark. And again, I think these two look kind of more evil, but up to you on whether this is a story of evil or redemption. So there's your final two court cards. Beautiful imagery all around. And that is the Eleazar version of the deck. Now, I mentioned there's two different versions, so let's get a quick look at the Lazarus version, starting with the tuck box. So very similar artwork on this one. You get the House of Seven Gables written there in the center, but a new and I think much improved foiling. Nice subtle embossing, but in addition to the gold foil in this one, you get a nice bronze foil, and it gives the deck a real depth and kind of elegance. This one I prefer strongly. I think the Lazarus one looks so good with that bronze foil. But beautiful foil continuing on all sides. You get that same sticker seal on the bottom, this time with a lamb there on the side. And on the back, you get a phrase that maybe is a phrase that comes from one of the ritualistic books that they might use. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright. Obviously referring to the wool of the lamb. Beautiful detail work on this one, all done in copper. And that copper design work continues to the inner flap here, along with the heptagram there. That symbol that shows up all over the place. A couple more heptagrams on the inner flaps. And of course, we get more foiling on the inside, this time done in a mixture of bronze and then reflective silver foil. So you get that kind of speckled antique bronze foil and then the highly reflective silver. It's a very cool effect. So fantastic tuck box. And like I said, my favorite of the two. The back design gets a facelift on this one as well. And again, I like this one a lot better. That metallic gold with the black background, really kind of a sinister look this time with the ram there with the twisting horns in the center. Definitely a more demonic look to this one. Get the heptagrams on the side and of course the little lamb there on the emblem on the side as well. Beautiful filigree filling in all the details, and then a bit more subtle of a border. So this one doesn't feel as chunky as the Eleazar version of the deck. So overall, tuck box and back design, I like the Lazarus version so far much better. And then as we turn to the cards, get your ad copy there telling you a little bit about the deck. And then this one also has a diptych joker, but this time taking pages out of that ritualistic book that you see a few times. And this one has the lamb in the center, the heptagram there kind of sketched in the middle, and then a bit of a poem about the lamb written down the sides, or a hymn. Really cool look to this one. I love the sort of mystery shrouding this card. It kind of leaves you wondering that much more about the stories within the deck. So cool little diptych joker there. And then the jokers here, instead of featuring the sheep, this time feature the goat. And the bottom, for he is worthy. Another kind of religious undertone set with the symbol there, and the goat as well set in that heptagram. You see the backgrounds on this one now are black, kind of a slate gray, not quite a super deep black, but nice look to it overall. Only criticism is sometimes black cards, you can see it a little bit there, they tend to chip a little bit in the edges of the cards, so these might not hold up quite as well as the lighter edged cards from the Eleazar version. But I think nice atmospheric look to it overall. That black back continues through the entire deck here. So here's the Ace of Spades. This one with the large ram with the twisting horns there in the center. And this one even more explicitly hits at some of those religious tones with the cross right above the forehead. Really, really sinister. Those eyes almost glow, even though it's just a sepia colored look here. Almost looks like it has glowing eyes. Other three aces also feature similar artwork to what we saw in the other ones, just done against that black background, which kind of gives it a new look. And same thing as you go through the number cards as well. So just using the off-white colored pips as your classic black pips, and then the red, which I think pops really nicely against that black as the red cards. So this one definitely has a bit more of an evil vibe to it overall, but same artwork that we saw on Eleazar, just given a new feel with that black background. So there's your number cards. You still get those interesting, mysterious sevens with the occult symbology there in the center. And then we get to the court cards, and the court cards feature the same artwork, but they call it full color, but it's really kind of a washed out color scheme on this one. You will see little bits of color on these, so you can see kind of the reds and the yellows kind of coming through a little bit on this one, but it's a really subtle coloring. So these don't have super vibrant looks to them. But overall, I think something that just kind of fits in with the rest of the deck. You can kind of see some of the reds in there as well. So same artwork, but given a little bit of color just to give this one a bit of a different feel. Overall, I don't know, I think I like the black and white version of the courts better than the color. But the color just kind of a nice mixture to the deck overall. So it kind of gives it one extra thing to differentiate it from the Eleazar version of the deck. So, and then we close out with Eleazar and Lazarus as the last two courts. And that is it. That is the deck. So overall, I don't know, I'd say tuck design, back design, win goes to the Lazarus version. Court cards, I'd say by a little bit goes to Eleazar. Just kind of up to you on which one you prefer. For me, overall, I'm going to say the Lazarus deck takes it. Overall handling on these, so the one thing that you're going to get as a knock with NPCC is therefore their handling is not great. Bit of a thicker card, so probably a sturdier card, but makes it a little bit harder to shuffle and definitely a good bit clumpier in fans than what you're used to if you've used USPCC or Carnamundi decks. So handling probably the one drawback of the deck overall, but as an artistic piece, and that's really how I appreciate Nicolai Aaroe's decks the most, this one really stands out as just a beautiful deck. So anyway, that's it. That is the look at House of Seven Gables, a mysterious deck with a sort of open-ended story behind it that sort of leaves the reader wondering. Very fun deck. I love the lore behind it, and I love just getting to explore some fantastic artwork throughout. Hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did, and make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and more unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see in the future, and I'll see you for the next one.